we're back. I'm here with archaeologist Tracy, and the last time we were together, we were excited to share with you that there's a new area being opened up in Ashkelon, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about how they knew something super cool was in this spot. So, Tracy.
Hi everyone, good to be with you again. So last time we talked a bit about some of the reasons why we were going to target this new area for excavation. And if you remember on our topographic map, it is right here in this square, which we talked about being one of the highest points and actually the highest point on the site. And we talked about there are a couple of reasons why this would be an interesting area to dig. We believe it's near some streets. We believe it's in an area where people would have built buildings, houses or palaces or, bathhouses, something like that, that would take advantage of the cooling breezes coming off the Mediterranean, as well as the view of the sea. There are a couple other reasons why you might build on a high point in a city such as this one. Defensive purposes. The higher up you are, the easier it is to see everything around you, not just the sea, and that can be a good measure of protection. Also, you can kind of, you see everything and everybody sees you. And so it's a very prominent location. A lot of people know that maybe you've arrived or you're really important. And so it's another reason people might want to build in this area. Now, we talked about there are a number of things that we're going to do and here's a picture of the area we can put next to the map here. There's a couple of ways we're going to investigate this non-invasively, meaning without excavation, because since we don't know what's there, we want to have a good idea of where we might want to look if we can. Two easy ways to do that. One's called a walking survey or a surface survey. And an archaeologist would basically just walk up and down right across the field like this, looking for signs of archaeological material. This happens a lot in desert sites and other uninhabited spots. Wouldn't work so well here because this is in the middle of a national park and people camp and there's grass and you're not going to really see much. So another really useful tool that archaeologists have started using in the past few years is something called GPR, or ground penetrating radar. And I can show you an example of this is at a site in the country of Jordan, just next to Israel. And here you see an archaeologist pulling along a little machine across the ground, and it's attached to a wheel. This is actually an example of ground penetrating radar. So what that is exactly, and it's a big mouthful, is it's an electromagnetic energy signal that penetrates the ground. So kind of imagine when you go to the doctor and you're sick and maybe you need to get an x-ray and there's a machine that takes pictures of the insides of your body, the parts of your body that you don't see when you're taking a bath or getting dressed in the morning. Well, the GPR allows us to take pictures of things inside the ground, tells us what's there underneath. And such machines have three elements, three pieces of the puzzle that make it work. One, the control unit, which is what the archaeologists use to tell it what to do and to record data. And then the antenna and the survey recorder, which is what analyzes the data, collects it, and that's what we can use to understand what is underneath the ground. Now, how it works is the antenna has a receiver and a transmitter, and it basically sends energy signals down into the ground, and then it waits to see what that energy signal hits, and if it hits something, it bounces back up, right? So what that does is, what the machine does is it measures the amount of time it takes that energy signal, that pulse, that hello, who's down there, where are you? It asks how long it takes for that to go down and come back up. And then it also analyzes the strength of the signal. And that can tell us how deep something is, how far underneath the ground it is, and where exactly it might be. So the way they do this is the area. This is a little ridge here, and we're basically surveying more or less this area. And so an archaeologist with a GPR is going to run tracks, basically like this. And they're just going to go up and down, back and forth, dragging this machine along the ground, seeing what it hits. All right, and then they're going to start recording that data. I have an example of what that looks like. This is from a survey, a GPR survey that we did a few years ago. And what you can see, this is what the archaeologist would see on the control screen. This is the information that it comes back right away. And you can see, I'm going to just highlight just for you see some darker lines coming through here. see a darker line here, and you see a darker line here. Those are two places where this energy signal, right, this machine has sent down a greeting, sent down a hello, an energy pulse, and it's bounced back up, and it looks like there's something underneath. In areas like this, where you just kind of see this gray, misty stuff, there isn't really anything to hit. So the archaeologists, when they're looking at this data, are looking for these kind of dark lines, and here you can see some more underneath here, right, that indicate something might be underneath the ground. There's another way that we like to look at this, and here you have an example of a top plan. So pretend like you're a bird in the sky, and you're floating overhead, and you're looking straight down, and this is what you're seeing. This is some GPR results from another area of excavation on the site. We used the GPR and then we excavated and found in this case the survey was very accurate. But my question for you is, when you look at this image with all these colors and everything laid out, where do you think we might want to dig? Right? And it's these kinds of images and these kinds of wavy lines we're going to look for on this area as we decide exactly where we want to open our trench this summer.
All right, friends, so you heard it from archaeologist Tracy. Your junior archaeology assignment is to let us know where you think